Christa, welcome to the Growth House Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Ray. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we were talking a little earlier before we actually hit record, and I found you on Instagram. There was this reel that I think was on my Explore page, and it was someone going around, I think you were in Bali, asking people like, hey, what do you do for work? And it was just like a bunch of different people doing a bunch of different things. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. And for me, as I told you, I'm very much a creature of habit. I like routine. So I'll go travel a lot, but I'll stay like a month in Colombia. I'll spend a month in Puerto Rico. And then I got to come back home and like stay 3 months and then go do it again. But I'm about to embark on my first like real digital nomad lifestyle where I'm going to go travel for at least 4 months and all over Europe. And what you're doing is incredible. And I want to get the people kind of the opportunity to get to know you, your story, and then also dive into some stuff and questions that I have about the lifestyle. So real quick, you've been doing this for 10 years. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've been a digital nomad for 10 years, working from my laptop and traveling all over the world.
That's amazing. So 65 countries, you're now a digital nomad coach. And
Yep.
before we dive into your story, how you even got like started being a digital nomad, where are you at currently? So you're a digital nomad coach. What's the lifestyle like for you right now?
Yeah, so I'm in Bali still. So where you saw that reel, that's just actually in my neighborhood, and I've been living here for 4 years. I was living out of my suitcase for 4 years. Before that, I was an expat. So when you add in Thailand, so when you add it all together, that's like my 10 years abroad. I've found that I don't know if I'm necessarily a creature of habit, but it's really nice to have a base. So I thought, you know what, I can choose anywhere in the world that I would like to base myself. And I chose Bali. And 4 years in, I'm still so happy to be here and still traveling, still seeing my family back in the States in the summers and stuff. But yeah, just loving my life on this little island.
I love it. And I got so many questions about Bali. But before all that, let's take a step back. So when did you decide, how old were you? And you're like, hey, I'm going to leave the US and I'm going to go travel and do this lifestyle.
Ooh, how old was I? Well, I feel like I followed all the rules and did all the things that I was supposed to do, like a good girl, all, up until I was 25. So went to school, got my bachelor's degree in journalism, and then I moved to New York City, and then I got an agency job, and then I got another agency job, and everything was, quote, looking great on paper until this last job that I had, the last agency job that I had in New York City was just literally the most toxic environment ever. I was being bullied by my boss basically, and it just was really not a good situation. I ended up getting fired from that job, probably because I wasn't a cultural fit. And I remember in that moment being like, you're gonna fire me? Like, what the hell? But then also being like, this is a good thing. Like, we know this is a good thing. We have to get out of here. So actually, I would say that I didn't even have the idea to leave the United States until the universe like kicked me out. Basically, they were like, you do not belong in this environment. You got to go. So, yeah, long story short, I just had felt so burned by the corporate life, that I was like, okay, well, I want to do something else. What else? Okay, I want to travel. Like, I love traveling. And then I was like, how am I going to travel? I have zero money saved. So this is 2013 at the time, and there wasn't really Instagram as like the thing that it is now. So I actually found a blog post of this guy who had moved to Thailand to teach English, and I was like, okay, like that, I'm just gonna do that. Like it sounds like a way that I can still kind of save face slash, look like I'm doing something professional while actually just fucking off to the other side of the world. Like that's what I really wanted to do.
I love that. Real
Um,
quick, was there like communities? Because I know there's multiple communities like now, like there's a fire movement, obviously digital nomads. Was any of that like a big thing?
no, it was not. Just saying, I'm kind of an OG in the space. I literally did it without any help and any support, which is why now I help other people go abroad and do all these things because I had to figure it out all by myself. And it was scary and it was hard. But it was so worth it. Like literally the second that I got to Thailand, I just had this overwhelming sense of I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I had never really felt that way before. So long story short, I didn't even end up teaching English in Thailand. I ended up getting a job in marketing with a Singapore based company who had some people in Thailand that were running it from there. And that was the beginning of my nomad journey. And I ended up just working remotely in marketing for the next like 6 years
Well,
before I
okay, so
started my own
you
business.
got it. Okay, so you're over there in Thailand. Were you
Yeah.
hopping around as well? Because you obviously had a remote job.
I was based in Bangkok for the first 2 years. And actually
Got it. Okay.
it was an office job the first 2 years that I was living in Thailand, but I did travel a lot, like I was based there. So I got to travel all over Southeast Asia. And yeah, really kind of live that travel dream life. But here's the thing that I realized when you're based somewhere. So I wanted to leave the matrix in the United States, if that word, I'm sure that word resonates with you. So I really wanted to leave the matrix in the United States. And then when I moved to Thailand, I was like, oh, all these people, they just get it. Like they all left their respective countries too, and they didn't want to work in their corporate, environments back home. So it was so much better being abroad with other international people, and I had I had more freedom and flexibility. Like I said, I did get to travel all over Southeast Asia, but there was a time when basically all these disasters happened back home when I was in Boston. Like there was a huge fire at the house that I grew up in, and then that was like the catalyst to my parents' divorce, and then there was like a couple of deaths in the family all in the same year. So I was just like, I can't be living on the other side of the planet, not in control over when I go home. Like having to take vacation time for me to travel to visit my family. This is unacceptable to me. Like I can't move forward with this life. So that was when I decided I need to be able to work 100% remotely. And then my first remote job came shortly after that. So that's kind of what
Got it.
inspired the whole thing.
Okay, so obviously remote job sounds great. Like I wish I would have had that, when I started my career. What's the difference between that and what was the catalyst to say, hey, you know what? This lifestyle is amazing. I like this remote job, but I want to start my own business. I want to have complete freedom and control.
Yeah. So I say this to my clients all the time. I'm like, I feel like in my journey of life, I'm always kind of chasing after this elusive feeling of freedom. And then it's like, I don't know, am I actually an addict? Because it's like you get a little bit and then you get used to that baseline and then you're like, but I want more. And then you get used to it and then you want more and then you get used to it and then you want more. And I just actually feel like sky is the limit with how much you can liberate your life. So now that I have complete, and I'll answer your question in a second. Now that I have complete location independence, now I'm on the track for complete financial independence. So when I decided, okay, my remote job, it's good. I can work from not anywhere in the world, but like anywhere in the Western Hemisphere, and maybe even like the Europe Africa time zone. Asia was just a little too far away. The time difference was too challenging. So, actually, this is a funny little story. If you want to hear a little story,
I love it.
so okay, so I was in Greece with my remote job with a bunch of other digital nomads. I was on this event called the Nomad Cruise. So there's like I don't know, like 50, 60 digital nomads all hanging out in Santorini. And we had just gotten off this 10-day cruise where I had taken it purely as like a vacation, like I was not working at all. So then when we got to Greece, I was like, okay, great, like time to buckle down and get some work done with a view. And I just thought everybody else was going to be doing that too. And then one day, my friend is like, guys, I rented a catamaran and we're all going on a sunset cruise. I'm DJing. Like, let's go. Who's coming? And everybody's like, me. And I'm like, but it's a Wednesday. And they're like, so? And I'm like, but it's a Wednesday and we just took off 10 days of work. So what about work? And they're like, just work later, just work in the morning. And I'm like, no, but I have a job. And they were like, what? You have a job?
Yeah.
Like a job, like a job where you have to report to somebody else? Like what?
You
And I
got
just remember,
hours?
yeah, and everybody being like, what? Like not computing, like this doesn't make sense because how are you living this like free, if you value a freedom focused life, why wouldn't you be working for yourself? Like just the reactions, everybody was like, that's ridiculous. Like you're all the way in Greece and now you can't enjoy this spectacular opportunity because you have to, because you're working a remote 9 to 5. So that was a really big like light bulb slash what the fuck moment for me. And basically from that moment on, I became obsessed with figuring out how I could just make money on my own.
Yeah.
And I tried from that point on. I probably honestly probably took like a couple of years trying to figure out what would be my thing.
Do you
Um,
remember what was some of the stuff that the guys and girls on that cruise were doing?
oh my gosh, this is what I've built my whole business around, literally. So I didn't really properly introduce myself and what I'm doing now to the listeners. So what I do is I help people figure out what is the best remote career path for them and then give them a very simple business model for them to build a business around that thing that's unique to kind of their personality, their interests, their strengths. So to answer your question, I'm like hearing all these people being like, "What? You have a job?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, what do you do?" And every single person's answer was different. And I thought that was so interesting. Like some people, yeah, some people were in e-commerce, some people were oh my gosh, some people were consultants, some people were coaches, some people were content creators. And then their niches were also interesting. Like one guy was literally making money by teaching stockbrokers how to do math quickly. He is a math whiz. When you meet this guy, you meet him and you're like, of course you're a math whiz. Like you can just picture him, right? And so he figured out how to leverage that strength that he has into a business. So stockbrokers, basically people that are on Wall Street, are like constantly needing to be doing math super fast in their heads, and they literally will pay a coach to help them get better at this essential skill that's going to completely advance their careers and their income. Um, so that's just like a wild example. Another girl, I remember she had a wild one where she was previously an accountant, and then she created a whole business out of helping Uber drivers in Australia file their taxes in like a specific optimized way. Like that was her specific niche, Uber drivers. Yeah. So, like I said, this is kind of what I built my whole business around. So, because I've been a nomad for so many years and I've met like probably 1,000, 2,000, I don't know, nomads. I meet them every day, all the time for years and years and years. And I was always like, because I was searching for what should my remote career be. I was always asking them like, what do you do? How did you make that happen? And just seeing like how many options there were. And just now I have all these data points in my head. When I talk to somebody, I'm able to, ask them some of these deeper questions about their personality and their interests and the things they would like to learn, and yeah, help them come up with some kind of really unique business idea like that actually makes sense for them. So
That's
long
amazing, and
answer.
we're gonna dive into that type of stuff in just a second. But to continue your story, so you're now spending, I think you said, 2 years trying to figure out what is my business going to be? How am I going to be
Mhm.
able to make money while traveling? How'd you end up landing on digital? I mean, yeah, basically you're a digital nomad coach.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I just really wanted to be making money online. And of course, what did I do first? I started Googling it. And when you Google it, how to make money online, what you get is this like top 10 list. So I was pretty much going through the top 10 list, being like, okay, could I do this? Could I do this? Could I do this? And I think when you approach creating a career for yourself from that place of like not really understanding what your options are and doing it just to make money, you really lose sight of of the fact that your career is such a huge, important aspect of your life where we spend like a third of our life working. And it's, I mean, I think in our culture today, it's very much an extension of who we are. So there's a lot of mindset stuff and a lot of identity things that happen when you go through a career transition. So, for example, one of the businesses that I tried to create, because when I say I was like working on creating a business, I actually like kickstarted about like 6 different businesses. Like I am a person who tries and like I like take action on things. So one of the businesses that I really put a lot of effort and work into was creating an online shop, and I wanted it to be a curated place for like digital nomads to buy the things that they needed. I was super integrated in the digital nomad community at that point, and I was like, oh yeah, we could sell backpacks, and we could sell like wireless microphones, and we could sell specific kind of clothing, and so. But that now looking back on that, like I am not someone that should have an e-commerce brand. I hate that kind of work. Like it's analytical, it's like numbers focused, there's like no human interaction. And so I wasn't thinking about all those things. I just was like literally like reading a list on Google being like, oh yeah, I could do this, and this is one of the options. So this sounds fun. And then when you try and try and try for so long on your own, when you hit a roadblock or when you get bored or when you start feeling frustrated, there's no long-term vision and no holistic view on like keeping you committed to the cause. So, yeah, basically I went through that experience a bunch of different times, and eventually the last business that I half created before I created the one that I now have was something where I was like, this is the one. Like this one totally checks all the boxes. It was a business that I called Instagrammer Weekend. And yeah, basically I would be helping people create their personal brands on Instagram by teaching them about marketing, teaching them about personal branding, teaching them about photography and content creation, which were all things I knew how to do at that point. And then after going so far in the business, I was actually getting great reviews. I was like, wait, but this isn't really conducive to my lifestyle because now I need to be in one location. And I was having trouble marketing it because now what I realize is when you market a business that is yourself, now even more mindset stuff comes up. Oh, what will people think about me? And what if I fail? So, long story short, I hired a business coach at the end of 2019, and that literally changed everything. Where she reflected back to me, like, you love the digital nomad community. Like, we gotta keep it in, we gotta keep it in that space. Like, obviously, this is your passion. Okay, you want to have this kind of lifestyle. We need to make sure that it's, completely remote. What is something that you know a lot about? Oh, you do know a lot about business and marketing at this point. So, and then when you hire a coach and you've actually put money behind something, now there's a fire under your ass and you cannot quit unless, if you do,
Mm,
now you're throwing away all the money that you spent. So,
so
um,
true.
yeah. So
You
hiring a
pay, you
business
pay
coach.
attention.
Hmm. Yeah, that was just like the absolute most game changing, like literally like such a life changing decision for me to hire a coach. And ever since then, yeah, like my business, sure, it's had a few dips, but it's been mostly like up and up the whole time. So
That's
now here I
amazing. And we
am.
could talk about coaches and mentors for hours because I am such a big believer in both and community as well because environment and association play such a big role in your life, right? And for
Hmm.
me, it was my first business coach was a stock coach, and he was the one that helped me earn enough money to then get into real estate. So for me, it's always whatever I'm trying to do better, get a coach like me. Like right now, I'm trying to study Spanish and get better at Spanish. I have a Spanish coach. I have a financial coach. I have when I'm, training hard for weightlifting, I got a weightlifting coach. And so totally agree. If the best athletes in the world have coaches and they want to level up,
Yes,
then why are we not, taking that same type of route to level up in our lives? So 100% on
100%.
board with you on
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So you mentioned, actually, let's dive into this. So someone's trying to figure out for themselves, what should my path be? Because I want to live the lifestyle of Krista. And I know you
Mhm.
work with a lot of people that are in that position, trying to transition into how do I make money while traveling? So is there any tips? Is there any, I'll let you take this wherever you want it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to briefly describe the service that I offer and the reason why I offered this service. Because I've gotten this question like a million times over the past 10
Yeah.
years. How do I do this too? And how do I choose the right thing for me? So the process that I take my clients through is, first of all, I give them this huge intake form. It probably takes like 5 hours to fill out because I'm not just asking, what's your career history? I'm asking, tell me your major life stories. Tell me like your gut reaction to all these different words. Any like subconscious context you have to different things. Like we're doing a full inventory of who this person is. So once that person surfaces all the answers to those questions, when I get on the phone and talk to them, they have all the information and all the answers to any question I could possibly ask right at the forefront of their mind. So when I ask them a question, they just immediately have the answer. And I can usually suggest to them something within 30 minutes or less sometimes. So anywhere between like 15 and 60 minutes. And my goal is to help people do something that they like. So I'm not going to give this chat GPT top 10 blog post answer. I'm going to be like, oh, okay. So I see that you wrote, that you always wanted to be an artist when you were younger. Like, tell me a little bit about that dream that you had. And like, what were you actually really seeing yourself? What did the vision look like when you were a kid? And then they tell me a little bit about what their childhood dreams are. And honestly, there's so much value in exploring what you wanted to be when you were a kid, because I think now I'm answering the question for anybody who doesn't want to work with me, which is fine. I think that if you are someone who feels like you just don't know how to move forward, you just don't know what's the right career path for you, you can't figure it out, you're out of touch with your passions. That's the thing. It's out of touch with who you actually are. And how are you ever going to be able to find a career path that's right for you if you're out of touch, if you don't even know who you are? So, this isn't the conventional answer, which might be like take the Myers-Briggs personality test and like, choose one of these 100 options. It's like know who you are. And the clearer you get on who you actually are, the more alignment you will be able to find in your career. It'll become obvious what it is that you should be doing. But so many
Is there
people,
examples? Like I want to
Mhm.
hear some of your clients and what they ended up doing.
Yeah, oh my gosh, everybody's just done such different things. Um, okay, well, an example, oh my gosh, there's just so many.
I was gonna say
Okay,
pick a favorite, but you're not allowed to say I got favorites.
no, I just have like there's literally dozen because they've all done. I've worked with like 400 people at this point, so
Hmm.
there's a lot of random ones. But one of my favorite stories, because I feel like your listeners are probably more high achiever kind of people, and like I
For
just feel
sure.
like that's the demographic. Okay. Yeah. So I think the best example is my client Danny, who was working at an advertising agency for New York, and just kept getting promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted. Like she was one of these really high achiever people. And when she came to work with me and on the career assessment where I'm going to suggest to her a remote career, she just was like, please don't say advertising. Please don't say advertising. Because of course that's what she could do and probably what ChatGPT would tell her to do if she told the robot all about herself. Anyway, I was looking at the deeper stuff about her, like what is it that lights her up when she's talking about her life experience? And I noticed something in there. She told me something about an experience that she had in an advocacy program for, I think, helping minority/Asian American women. And I saw that she just was so passionate about helping people like that, that long story short, what we ended up coming up with is career coaching for minority women. And she helps women get promoted because she like that was something that she knew how to do. She knew how to climb the corporate ladder. It doesn't matter whether it's in advertising or whether it's in a different industry. That's something that she can do. And now she's left her job. She's been living in Mexico City and London, and she's just living her best life. So
I
yeah,
love
that's
that
just one
story.
example.
That's amazing. And I want to switch topics to more traveling.
Hmm.
So I have not figured out how to travel and work if I'm like hopping around, let's just say even every week. What was, do you have any tips there? Do you do that? Because I know you have home base in Bali. Do you
Yeah.
also travel around a lot? Or are you mostly, hey, I'm just living in Bali because it's paradise?
Well, I've already identified the problem. It's you said going somewhere every week. That's a problem. That's
Mm,
just like that's crazy. Like, how are you ever
yeah.
going to get your work done?
AKA, don't do this.
Yeah. I would say like the absolute minimum amount of time you should spend anywhere is 10 days, because then you can have the first day as a travel day, 2 days to explore on a weekend, do a 5 day work day. I mean, when you work for yourself, we're probably not really working 40 hours a week. Like, let's be realistic, but you need at least 20. So if you can be like, okay, I'm going to do like 6 hours, 6 hours, and another, then like, whatever, spread it out like that, or a few 4 hour days. You just need to be able to look at your schedule in advance. Also, always setting yourself up for success before you get to a destination. Like, can you choose an Airbnb that's near a co-working space and near a gym and like near whatever else it is that you want to prioritize, so that you can just really maximize your time in that place. Um, so yeah, I would say the minimum amount of time is 10 days, but ideally minimum is 2 weeks, and best case scenario is you go somewhere for a month, and then that helps you actually get into a routine. You can go to a grocery store, you can get a month long gym membership, you can sort of figure out the lay of the land, have a few different favorite cafes or co-working spaces that you go to, because I think if we want to have a productive life, like you say, you're a creature of habit.
I'm trying to go everywhere, somewhere for 1 week. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You solved my issue.
I know. But so, okay. But actually, though, it's like, I feel like my whole philosophy and the work that I do and everything is just know yourself. If you know that you're a creature of habit, and you know that in order for you to be productive, you need things to be in a specific kind of way. If that's how you know that you are, and you actually like living where you're living, then why not set yourself up to be able to take those months that you are traveling as just doing the actual bare minimum, like just to keep things rolling. And then it might make a little bit more sense for you to go somewhere every single week. But it's like we're really zooming out on your full year and looking holistically at what matters to you, and yeah, how do you best operate? And I call it lifestyle design. Like, you can just literally tweak things to maximize your life based on how you are. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay, we're gonna dive into some questions right here.
Okay, let's go.
Number one, not even say travel, top digital nomad cities for someone who's a beginner and they want to do that minimum of a month.
Yeah. Well, where I live in Canggu, Bali is 100% like best of the best. You literally have everything that you need. But the problem is you could come and you may never leave. So maybe if you really want to travel the whole world, like, don't come here first, because honestly, you probably will get stuck and you probably won't leave.
No
Um,
way.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's that good.
It just has this very specific combination of things that make it just so livable. And the community here is amazing. Like, you will come and you'll meet people, and um,
Do you
yeah.
get to like know everyone, or is there people coming in and out all the time? Like, cause my friend Jacob Noakes lived there for like 5 years. I'm like, Jacob, are you ever going to come back? Like, is this something where you just know everyone on it's an island, right?
No, it's not like that. It's not like that. But Bali is big. It's like probably the size of Massachusetts or something. Like, you
Okay,
know.
okay.
And I mean, during the pandemic when I was here, I felt like I knew, like I could go anywhere and run into somebody that I know, but it's not like that anymore. Now it's kind of like if you run into somebody, it's like a happy coincidence sort of thing.
Right. Who usually
Um,
comes? Is there a lot of content creators? Is a lot of people like you that are more in the coaching business? Like, kind of fill me in. Like, who are the people in Bali?
oh, there's so many. It's funny. Like you could do characters of Bali. So I would
Yeah.
say the archetypes of people. There are surfers. There's a big surfer community. There are digital nomads. So yeah, people that just come to work and kind of live normal life, like that care about going on beach walks and partying and going to the gym and eating nice food and like nice cafes. So there's that. There's a lot of content creators. Like the
Mm.
number of selfies that you could see happening on a daily basis, no matter where you
Tripods
are,
everywhere.
literally in the gym, on the beach, like in front of a temple, like it just people being weird. A lot of that. There's a very big Russian community here, like a very big one. So that's like a whole demographic of people. Um, Hippies, spiritual people. That's another big, like spiritual community is very, very big. Yeah. Fitness, and hot people, people that are hot, like sex. You like look around and you're like, why is everybody so beautiful? Like that's you've never seen anything like it. It's bizarre, actually. Yeah, that's who's here.
Well, it sounds like somewhere I need to go check out at least.
I mean, come check it out for sure. Yeah.
So, Krista, break down because people don't know this. What is like the cost? What is a amazing lifestyle in Bali look like compared to maybe somewhere in the States?
Well, you can have affordable luxury here, which is amazing. So, I actually might be spending the same amount here that I kind of feel like people spend to an amount of money that they feel comfortable with, like in terms of their spending versus savings. So maybe I spend the same amount of money here that I did when I was back in the States, but my life is like dramatically upgraded. Like I live in a beautiful house and have a housekeeper come three times a week and like just go to the best gym and yeah, I'm sure for the luxurious life that I have, I'm probably not spending more than $4,000 a month.
Hmm.
Um,
All in total, food, gym, house, all of that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because hiring help is so affordable. Eating out is so affordable. And it's like you're eating out in nice places.
Yeah.
So yeah. Uh, but you could come here and you could spend $2,000 a month. You know, you get a motorbike to get around that might cost like $80 a month with gas, and you might stay in a guest house where you know you don't have a fabulous villa that you're living in, but you have a nice bed and a nice room in a good location, and you could probably get away with spending like $700 a month on that, maybe you know $1,000 if you really want to actually like maybe $1,000 if you want to live in a house, like a nice house with other people. Um, and then you're probably spending like less than $15 on a meal in a nice restaurant. Um, so I actually eat out like literally every single meal. Like I never ever cook. Gyms are expensive though, I will say. Gyms are going to cost you like anywhere between $100 and $200 a month. So
Oh, that's like a normal gym out here. Yeah, it's expensive for, I
it
guess,
is.
Bali. Is it
It's weird,
not?
but they're so nice. Like they're crazy. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so besides Bali, what
Yeah.
are some other spots you're like, go check out if you're looking to live this lifestyle?
Okay, well, I know you're going on a South America trip soon, so I would say definitely go to Medellin, Colombia.
I love Medellin.
Yeah, best. Like also excellent, excellent, excellent nomad community. Um, what else is great there? I think Santa Teresa, Costa Rica has a lot of the same like perks that Bali does, except it's expensive. So you get all
That's
the
what I've
same
heard.
stuff, but you're paying for it. Um, Lisbon, Portugal has a great digital nomad scene there. They have like
I'm going
meetup at
there in a
least
couple
once a week.
weeks.
Oh, nice. Okay, so go to Digital Nomads Lisbon on I think Facebook, or maybe they have an Instagram group too. But yeah, like go to the meetups. I'm pretty sure they're every Thursday, and there could be like 100 people at them, and a lot of regulars too, like a lot of people that like base themselves in Lisbon. Yeah. Um, I always like Gran Canaria, Spain. It's a bit sleepier, but it has a lot of the same things like relatively low cost of living, very temperate weather, surfing there. You got a lot of nature and like city parks. But there's just so many places. There's like so many places. And
I
Chiang Mai,
love it.
Thailand. That's another really good one.
Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Hmm.
Kristen, like next, let's not even look too far out, but let's just say 2 to 3 years.
Hmm.
What's that look like for you?
2 to 3 years. I'm sure I'll still be living in Bali. I just signed a 5-year lease for the house that I'm in now. Maybe I'll probably put it on Airbnb at some point. But yeah, I'm sure I'm still gonna be living here. And I don't know. I feel like I don't, there's not a lot like missing in my life, I guess you could say. Like I I would be happy if I were still doing the same thing. Like I love my business. I love my lifestyle. Um, I'm sure I'll have hit like maybe a dozen more countries by that point. But as I get older, and I mean, hopefully I find my life partner in the meantime, and that he's on board with this, and I could see myself eventually like transitioning my business into helping uh, parents live alternative lifestyles with kids, like doing the digital nomad thing as a family unit, or yeah, something like that.
I love it. And it's so interesting because so many people that I have on the podcast, one of the last questions I ask, because for us, especially, our community is very much a high achieving community and we put everything, focus on business. Sometimes our health goes to the side. Sometimes, a lot of times, even for me, relationships that go to the side. It's not a priority. For you traveling so much and then also being in a completely different area, how has that been with relationships? Has it been harder or, what's your take there for you?
Oh my God, a whole can of worms to open up there. I do have a podcast episode on my podcast
Okay, shout it out. We're going
called
to go listen to
yeah,
it.
Dating as a Digital Nomad, and
Dope.
the podcast in general is called the Digital Nomad Life Podcast. But yeah, I have an episode about dating as a digital nomad. In summary, I think that if you know about attachment styles, do you know?
Yeah,
Well,
actually, I think I might have listened to that one because this is
oh,
very
really?
familiar. Yeah.
Okay, well, everybody should learn about attachment styles. It's just, I think, a very important concept for humans to know. But I have a suspicion that a lot of digital nomads are avoidant and use travel as a way to kind of like fill something in their life. Definitely not for everybody. Like, there's a lot of value in traveling, and I still love traveling so much. But I've been on a big healing journey to overcome any kind of avoidant tendencies that I had. So if you asked me like, I don't know, 6 years ago, I'd be like, I don't know, I think dating as a digital nomad is hard and like because of all these factors and whatever. Now I actually believe that that's just a limiting belief and that you can meet somebody in any situation and you can make anything work if you want to, especially if you're free. Like if you are location independent, you can make any kind of relationship work. It's just like, do you actually want to? And is your subconscious allowing you to. So, yeah. So, I mean, I just recently, not that like 5 months ago, got out of a 2 year relationship. So it was manageable to have, and it ended, which is fine. I think that it's not because I'm a nomad is the reason why it ended, you know. So he
Well,
actually
people
still
want to
lives
listen
here.
to more about this type of stuff. Go
Yeah.
listen to that podcast. And before you share, because I want people to connect with you and people are going to reach out. But here's the thing, no one's going to reach out and say, hey, can I pick your brain? We're very much a go giving community. We love, I don't know if you've heard the book Go Giver, but we want to provide value to everyone first before even asking anything. So,
Mhm.
first, how can someone, when they reach out, provide value to you? It could be as simple as, hey, go listen to my podcast, go rate it. Obviously, 5 stars for Christa. But how can
Yeah.
someone bring you value before asking about anything?
How can they bring me value?
Yes.
Well, I think that honestly, I love talking to people in the DMs, and it does bring me value to hear the challenges that people have in making their dream lifestyles happen. It helps me with my marketing so much when I can really hear like what's holding you back, because then I can make my program better to accommodate, whatever the challenges that you have. So I would say like just DM me on Instagram at Christa Bella Travels. It's Christa Bella Travels. Just DM me there, but don't just DM me and say, "Hey, can we talk?" Like send me your full fucking life story and just give me something to respond to. And then if you do that, then we can engage in a conversation, and I would be happy, and I would love to talk to you. But like don't just like give me something to work with. Basically, that's how to give you
Mm.
value for sure.
When you reach out, also let her know, like, hey, I listened to the podcast.
Yes.
This really resonated with me. Appreciate you. And then spill your life story, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me know where you came from too. Definitely, especially if it's this podcast, that I can thank Jesse.
Absolutely. Is there any other ways people should connect with you? Check out, obviously, what you're doing is amazing. You're helping a lot of people. You said over 400 people in the last few years. Incredible. Just want to say thank you for doing that. That's so cool. And appreciate you being on the show. But is there anywhere else that people should reach out?
No, I think Instagram is totally the best place. I have so many free resources with the link in my bio, but or just go to the podcast and you can check the show notes there for trainings. I do live trainings once in a while. I have some ones that you can just watch instantly with the replay. So yeah, the Digital Nomad Life podcast or Christa Bella Travels. And I hope that I get to connect with some of you soon.
Christa Bella, appreciate you. Thanks for being on the show. And I don't even know, what time is it right now?
It's 10 a.m.
It's 10 a.m. It's 7
Yeah.
p.m. here in Arizona. So I know the time difference. I appreciate you. And I'm excited to connect more.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Bye.